This is Luke Martin with Coding Problem Set 5, Cipher, OOP. Here I'm downloading words.txt and story.txt, which will be used and implemented in my program. As you can see, I've already copied and pasted the starter code, and now I'm scrolling down to where I need to do my first change. Here I begin by creating a variable called shift dictionary, and I set it equal to an empty set. And then I create a for loop that basically I have to create two for loops, but for the first for loop I do it for lowercase letters. So basically it finds the length of the string and then takes all the lowercase letters, and then it shifts the index, and then I do this is after the line after the for loop is the shifted index equals I plus the shift, so it shifts it over, and then I do a %sign 26, so basically it does 0 through 25. And then on the third line after that, I do shifted dictionary, so I'm setting that initial empty set, and I do the lowercase string I is equal to the lowercase string, and then in brackets shifted index. So basically what that does, it builds the dictionary for all of the lowercase letters. And then I do the exact same thing for uppercase letters, except instead of doing string.ASCII underscore lowercase, I do uppercase. And here I just skip straight to where I typed it out because it's the exact same thing word for word except uppercase, and then I return the shift dictionary. And I start off by creating the same shift dictionary variable, then set it equal to self.buildShiftDictionary, which is the earlier function, and then with under the parameter shift, and there's no self because I already did self.build. And basically what self does is it basically allows it to access other variables, or access different instance variables in different functions. And I did put a colon at the end of that. I wasn't supposed to, but I run it, get a syntax error, and I fix that pretty quickly. And for this line, I do shifted message equals an empty string, basically just setting that equal to it. And then I create a for loop, so for character in the self.message text. Basically out. So what I want to do with that for loop is I want to use the shifted character that's in the dictionary, or if it can't find one, then keep it as is. So basically I do shifted message.append and then shift dictionary.get, and I get the character. And then my return statement is return empty dot join the shifted message. And this is a completely different class. It is the plain text message class, and under the function init, I do super brackets and then dot init text. So basically, all this line is doing is it calls the parent constructor, and then it initializes the text variable and the valid words. And then I do self.shift equals shift, self.encrypting dictionary equals self.build shift dictionary, which is the same exact line as we did earlier, but it's under a different class, so we retype it. And self.message text encrypted equals self.apply shift, and then in parentheses shift. And so basically all it does is it's calling everything and initializes it. And for the get shift function, all I have to do is do a return statement of return self.shift. And then same thing for this next function, all I have to do is a return statement of self.encrypting dictionary.copy. It's because I'm supposed to do a copy of it and not change the actual value. And then for this final one, I also do another return statement, and that's all I need to do is return self.message text encrypted. For the change shift function, I do the exact same thing that I did for the init function, except I don't need to do the first line, which calls the parent instructor, because it's already within the same class. And basically, I type it all out here because I didn't realize I had already written all this out word for word, but I could have just copied and pasted. And then under this new class, cipher text message, under the function init, I call it from the parent class again and do init and then text. And then under decrypt message, which is the next function, I do max valid words equals 0, so I set new variable, and then best shift equals 0, and best decrypted message equals self message text, which is a variable we've already used which is that second one we've already used. And then here I create a for loop, which basically scans for it from every single position, so 0 to 25. So I do in the range of 26, because that's how Python works. And then I do the variable decrypted message equals self apply shift. And then I do words equals decrypted message dot split. So basically what the dot split does is it splits the message into separate words. And then the next function I do is valid word count equals the sum of 1 and then a for word in words if is word is self valid words word. Basically all that does is it counts how many valid words you get, pretty much. It finds all the valid words you have. And then finally, actually I'm gonna wait. Now, finally, I end it with an if statement. So if valid word count is greater than max valid words, then max valid words equals valid word count, and then best shift equals shift, best decrypted message equals decrypted message. So basically, all those lines do is it updates the best shift if the shift has more valid words. So basically, it scans for whatever the best possible messages, and then finally it ends it with a return statement, which is return best shift, comma, best decrypted message. And then here I go and run it. I had a syntax error, which was that colon that I found earlier. I seem to have been a bit slow at figuring it out. I think I was making sure I spelled everything right in respect to something early, and then I finally see the colon. this last syntax error was actually, I didn't mess it up on this line, I messed it up on an earlier line. I misspelled encrypted on accident, and it's actually spelt right here, but I just go ahead and misspell it because I didn't actually just go back. It didn't really matter, as long as it said the same thing, it all did the same function anyways. And then finally I run it, and it actually gives me the correct output. So then next I do the final step, which is doing this decrypting the story, and I start that off with a if statement. So I do if name equals, and then in quotations, main. Then it loads so then I load the encrypted story by doing encrypted story equals get story string, and then to decrypt the story I use ciphertext equals ciphertext message in parentheses encrypted story, and then I do best shift comma decrypted story equals ciphertext dot decrypt message, and then for the output I print out best shift, and then I print out the decrypted story. Forgot to put a comma here. And now, oh, I misspelled string as well. Forgot about that. And now it works, and it shows out the final story, and it says something about it's a mythical character. I don't know if that one was right, but something about hacking in school.